everybody. This is Darren Dunlap with the Fargo-Moorhead West Fargo Chamber, and I am so honored today to be joined by Jim Alexander, CEO of Nodak Insurance. Jim, thanks so much for joining me today.
Glad to be here today, Darren. Thank you very much for your time and the Chamber's time, and looking forward to our discussion.
Great. You know, it's amazing to me when we talk about pillars of our community and the anniversaries that they sell, or that they celebrate. We are now looking at Nodak, 75 years that you guys have been in business. So first of all, congratulations on that. And I guess what I'd like to do is I was looking at a website that you guys have, and you actually have a specific website for this. It's Nodak75.com. It's very, very interesting looking at the history of Nodak. But it talks about how in 1946, a group of farmers and ranchers started an insurance company to protect the livelihoods of North Dakotans like themselves. So I guess I would like you to really talk about, how does that original idea from 1946, how does that relate to Nodak of today?
Yeah, well, and you hit the nail on the head. 1946, a group of farmers and ranchers, and it really goes back to 1942. So in 1942 is when the North Dakota Farm Bureau actually started. So for those of those that aren't familiar with that organization, it is an organization here in the state, and there's actually Farm Bureau state organizations across the country. And they started here in North Dakota. They formed a group, and to really lobby for and protect the rights of farmers and ranchers in the state. And that work continues today. And then, as you said, they started an insurance company. They wanted to protect their livelihoods, their farms and their ranches. And there wasn't a lot of insurance companies, at the time, but there certainly wasn't insurance companies that had a focus on insuring farmers and ranchers. So they started an insurance company, and that insurance company was Nodak Mutual Insurance Company. And today we're known as Nodak Insurance Company. And we could probably talk about that a little bit later in our discussion. But, that group, started this company, and over the years, it has really evolved and grown from insuring maybe primarily the farms and the ranches in the state to really everything, farms and ranches and cars and homes and businesses.
Jim, it was interesting to me, and I know we touched on this a little bit earlier, but it was interesting to me that the original location of the headquarters of Nodak was on the corner of Broadway and NP Avenue until 1955, where you guys moved to your present location. So right. I'm not even going to say 65 years or 66 years you've been at the present location, but it's not, so obviously you've had a long-standing relationship with downtown Fargo and the corporate offices, but the footprint, as you'd mentioned, really does spread out quite a bit, as well as your agents. So if you could give me an idea how big of a territory that you guys now reach.
Yeah, our company really began to evolve when I arrived and began working in Nodak. I guess a little over 17 years ago now, 18 really, because I started in 2003, here, in Fargo. And we wrote just in the state of North Dakota, and, our focus was here. But as you can imagine, that presents challenges with respect to, certain things impact our business, whether it's weather, whether it's stability, organizations, companies got to continue to grow. I mean, you look at it, I think people, you're either growing or you're dying, unfortunately, as an organization, and we need to continue to grow. And so we were looking for opportunities to spread, to grow our business, and grow not only in the state of North Dakota, but beyond the boundaries of the state. So that led us to some expansion, and we now write through various subsidiaries and affiliates. We write business in Minnesota and South Dakota and Nebraska and Arizona and Nevada, Illinois, and then really all up and down the East Coast through an acquisition we recently made. But we write, in Maryland and Pennsylvania and Washington, D.C. and Georgia and South Carolina, and all up and down the Eastern Seaboard. So our organization has changed a lot in the time that I've been here. We've grown substantially from being a single state operation to the states that I just indicated we write in. And really we've grown, our product lines as well. We write, certainly we continue to write farms and ranches and autos and homes. We write crop insurance, and we write a lot of commercial business as well. So we write a broad base of products, of insurance products, really across the United States.
Jim, one of the things that we had touched on, or we talked about when we first visited, was one of the main roles is, of course, as you said, if you're not expanding, you're dying. Well, obviously the expansion has been, astronomical, but you also talked about the fact that you really, you did that to spread risk. And I guess I'd really like you to touch a little bit on that risk spread and how that works in the insurance business.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really goes back to the principles of insurance, right? I mean, you want to spread out the risk among many policyholders, so you protect not only the policyholders, but you protect the company as well. So not one single event can have a significant impact, on your business or your operation. So not only geographically spreading the risk, so writing business outside of North Dakota, so that a single hail event or some other weather event wouldn't have a significant financial impact on our company. So we spread geographically into states like South Dakota, Nebraska, and Illinois, but we also spread by line of business. So even though, let's say, weather might impact our homeowners or farm owners business in North Dakota or South Dakota, we write a significant amount of property up and down the East Coast, or we write a lot of automobile insurance in Illinois and Arizona and Nevada. So when one line of business may not perform, there's other lines of business that can perform and be profitable, so that overall the organization does well year to year. And we're here for the long run. We've been here for 75 years, and we want to be here for 175 more. Our goal is to be there to protect our policyholders, yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
That's that does explain a lot of things to me. So thank you for that. Of course, hopefully we're on the backside of COVID. It appears that way anyway. But I guess I was interested in your perspective, how the COVID pandemic has affected Nodak Insurance, as well as maybe the entire insurance industry.
Well, let's start with our company. First of all, Darren, I'll tell you, I commend our staff. We have here a committee, we call it our Enterprise Risk Management Committee, that focuses on things. You think, okay, hey, Jim, you're in the risk business. This is what you do every day. But, that committee's job is not to really focus on insurance risks. We try to look at risks that are outside of that insurance. What could have an impact on our operation? So things such as, a significant event that would force closure of this office, COVID, we weren't thinking about that. We were thinking maybe a major fire, maybe something that would damage this building. But, our job on that committee was to look at things that could have a significant impact on the business, and find ways to mitigate that. And so we actually, believe it or not, we had a pandemic policy. So when this started heating up back in, earlier this year, especially into March, we pulled out that policy, and we kind of had a game plan of what we needed to do. And we put that into play right away. And a few things that we did that, helped us substantially. We needed monitors for our employees to be able to work from home. So we got some orders in early, and I know that there were some businesses that weren't able to obtain, equipment, but we were able to get all the equipment we needed in anticipation of our employees needing to work from home. And that plan, included all that. So that was the first thing that we did when March 23rd, we sent our employees home with the equipment and everything, and we began working from home. And, we pulled that off without a hitch. And not only here in Fargo, but we have corporate offices for all those other entities that I spoke of, which I know, you'll share some more information, or people can go online to nodak75.com and see those. But all of those entities, we have offices, and they implemented their plans, and their employees went home, and we didn't miss a beat. We continue to operate. We continue to not only write new business, handle claims, and service our clients, and that's really our goal. So that's about that piece of it. The industry side of the house, we can look at it. Certainly, some unintended consequences. As metropolitan areas and people started working from home. People drove, a lot less during those few months. We saw, frequency of auto collisions and all those kind of things, drop by 30 to 40%. And that is in our area. And I know there are other parts of the country, major metropolitan areas, where they dropped a lot more than that, where people just didn't drive. Here in a more rural state like we live in and operate in, people have to drive to go places. So, we still had, maybe a little higher frequency than many in the industry, but, we saw a substantial reduction in the number of claims that we were seeing, especially on the, the automobile side of the house. And that really was the entire industry experienced that.
Jim, I was reading a part, being we're talking about COVID, that some insurance companies were giving rebates or something, some sort of stipend back to their policyholders. What was Nodak able to do with their policyholders?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that you saw a lot of commercials. A lot of companies really responded in the fact that people were driving less, as we had discussed previously here, but driving less, and therefore, felt that with, there were fewer claims and insurance premiums should be reduced. So, and many companies did that. They offered rebates or whatever. At Nodak, we took a little different approach. I mean, so in order to buy a policy at Nodak Insurance Company, you do have to be a member of the North Dakota Farm Bureau. And that membership is, around $50. And so what we did, we took the approach that we would pay all of our auto policy holders their membership. So, back in earlier this fall or back in late, 2020 there, we paid those memberships, and that amounted to a little over $1 million that we, in essence, gave back to our policyholders by paying their Farm Bureau memberships. And I was very thankful. We had a tremendous number of policyholders personally sit down and write thank you notes. I mean, that seems to be a little bit of a thing of the past, and I received so many personally written thank you notes, and it was, it meant a lot. It meant a lot that people would take time to handwrite a thank you note and send it in to us. So I appreciate it, and I'm glad we were able to do that for our policyholders.
Very interesting, huh? Well, Jim, as we begin to wrap up here, I guess one thing I'm going to ask you to pull out your crystal ball. And I know how you love that sort of thing and making predictions, but I guess it's really, with the experience that you've had in the insurance industry, where do you see the insurance industry going in the future with what's going on in our country and the world?
Yeah. I think this past year has taught, not only, us here at Nodak Insurance Company, but the industry, a lot about, how we can use technology and better leverage technology, the ability for employees to work remotely, the ability to adjust claims in a virtual environment, more use of technology so that, maybe that adjuster can set just like you and I are, and you might show me some pictures of your damaged car, and I might be able to write an estimate off of the photos that you provide me. And you and I would never necessarily, need to meet, come face to face. I don't need to drive out to see your car at your home or wherever it might be. I could do that estimate. I could send the estimate to the body shop that you want to go to, and you take your car over there and get it fixed. Drones. I mean, we've seen and heard, and everybody is studying that. We here in Nodak, we have at least 4 of them, and we may have more. That's not necessarily an area that I specialize in, but we have certified drone operators who are claim adjusters, and we utilize them. for those tall buildings, those high roofs that we have, if you have a home or a barn, for example, it has roof damage, we can fly that drone right over the top of it, and we can get right down close. We can take the photos, we can see it. Where before, we might have to hire an engineer, we might have to get a ladder truck or a bucket truck, and that would take time. We can go out there today, fly the drone, see the damage, write the estimate, hand the insured a check, versus have to wait 2 or 3 days to get someone out there where we could safely put someone up on that roof and safely inspect that building.
Yes. Yeah. Technology, not, I know this is our platform today, but it's not, my friend. I'm too old, Jim. I'm going to leave it to young guys like you to handle all the technology.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We'll leave that to others. It's we have to embrace it. We have to use it, but and we can keep our knowledge somewhat limited, on that. But we have used it. The industry is using it. Every industry is using it. I mean, I think that's certainly where we're headed, and there's a lot of efficiencies and a lot of things that can be done to make it easier for people to do business.
Jim, one of the things you did mention that the transition from the name Nodak Mutual to Nodak Insurance, and maybe we should touch on that just a little bit, and you
Sure.
can kind of explain that.
Yeah. So it was 4 years ago, actually, in March, it was 4 years ago, we made the decision that, we wanted to continue to grow the organization, and we wanted to do that through basically, mergers and acquisitions. So we wanted to look for opportunities to acquire, other insurance companies. So again, we go back to our spread of risk, right? And our ability to grow. And as a mutual company, the capital that we had was somewhat limited. We had plenty of capital to support our business, but we didn't necessarily have, excess capital to go out and make, meaningful acquisitions. So one of the things we did was we made a decision to demutualize Nodak Mutual Insurance Company, and we made a public offering. So we have a mutual holding company that owns the majority of stock. They own approximately 60% of the stock, and 40% is owned, by the public. We're publicly traded on NASDAQ, and we're out there, and that's how we raised that capital. So we sold 40% of the company and raised, a little over $100 million. And with that $100 million, we made 2 acquisitions: a direct auto insurance company in Illinois, and Westminster Insurance Company out in Maryland. So those are 2 acquisitions we made with the capital that we raised through that public offering. So we're a publicly traded entity on NASDAQ. So you go out there and look up NODK, and you can see what's going on.
Well, and residing in downtown Fargo, North Dakota. So that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, this is a great place. We're fortunate, I think, and maybe we could keep this a secret about Fargo, but I think it's a great community. We're fortunate to have our corporate headquarters here. We have a great group of employees and here that work here in Fargo, and not only in Fargo, really across the state of North Dakota, but we have employees in South Dakota and Nebraska as well, Illinois and everywhere. But we have a really just tremendous group in our home office, and we're very fortunate to have them here.
Well, Jim, we are, as a community, are very fortunate to have the headquarters of Nodak Insurance in our market as well. So on behalf of the Fargo-Moorhead West Fargo Chamber, our entire region, we want to congratulate you and your team on 75 years of business. And I like the prediction of 175 more years. So I'm not sure that I'm going to be around to help do the video back then.
That's right. Well, we'll leave that up to somebody else. I'm sure, I won't be either, but, we just want to see this thing. I think our goal as leaders in any organization we work in is to leave it, leave it better than it was when we got here, and leave it in good shape so the next person can carry it forward as they see fit. And that's a goal that I have for myself.
That's a goal that every business should have. And you are a pillar in our business community. So Jim, once again, thank you very much and congratulations to Nodak Insurance. And I'll look forward to running into you very soon.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for your time this morning, Darren, and the chamber.
Okay. Thanks, Jim.